just left the bank. It seems like I cannot even go a whole day without having multiple miraculous blessings falling into my hands that I'm not even pursuing. It is obviously the Lord has chosen to favor me and my family in this company, Kingdom Legacy, because what just happened at the bank, it doesn't happen. So just to briefly summarize, went to the bank to open up the account where the bank that is giving us the money to purchase the property has also given us a construction loan where they will issue money into a bank account that they've given in the business name. And as the work is completed, they will reimburse the company for the work that was done. And of course, it's a matter of concern because when you renovate a home, you don't want to run out of money. And I've already stated in a previous video that we learned the day of closing that we would have to completely raise the foundation. That was more than a $10,000 repair. We also learned that all of the existing plumbing would need to be removed. That's a $6,500 repair. So that's more than $16,000 that we did not receive funding for. And so in order to be able to accommodate that, we would have to find other sources of funds to be able to start the construction project before we could even use the money that we had been given in the construction loan, because these items had to be done first. You have to fix your foundation first. You have to lay your plumbing first before you can even tap into the money that the bank has given. So that was a matter of concern for me. But of course, I didn't worry about it. I just said, all right, God, what are you going to do to fix this one, right? Well, I went to the bank with my husband just to meet the banker, who happens to be the president of the bank, who's the one that granted my loan. And so I went in to go and sign the paperwork to open the account. And I just said, hey, can I go into the office of the president and just, say hi? Just, introduce him to my husband. When we get there, we have a long conversation, and I tell him the whole vision for the company. He's congratulating me on this one home, but I explained to him, no, there's much more ahead, and I'm looking for someone that's going to finance the vision, and I would like for it to be you. And I was just kind of, casually saying, let's set an appointment. Let's talk about this later. Out of that, he says, well, yeah, I decide who I give loans to. So if all goes well with this project, let's do them all. Well, from there, we go to sign the papers in a different office. And the woman, she's like, here are your checks for your account. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, well, why are you giving me checks? There's no money in the account, right? You're giving me checks so that when I finally get to start working on the things that you're giving me money for, you'll reimburse me for what I've already spent. So why are you giving me checks as if there's money in the account? And she says, well, there's already $2,000 in your account. And I said, well, where did that come from? And the bank president says, oh, yeah, I put $2,000 in your account just so you have money to get started on your project. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, well, and anytime you need more money, just let me know and I'll put more in there. And I said, well, aren't you going to, reimburse me after I've done the work? He said, no, I'll just give it to you. Just give you the money. I said, what? What do you mean? All the documents I signed at closing said that I had to do the work first. Then we had to hire an inspector. And then once the inspector came, you would charge a draw fee. Then once the draw fees were paid, then you would release the funds. And he's like, well, yeah, that's what it says in paper. But, I'll just put it in your account. That's why I'm looking like this. Because these things don't happen. This is not the way that banking happens. It may happen for wealthy people that way, but it certainly doesn't happen for someone who walks into the bank looking like this with a scully on, hair, natural, in my sweats that I have a cardigan put over. It doesn't happen for people like that. But when you have God on your side, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you have in your bank account, because in the account that I have at his bank, I put $0 in that. I don't have any money. So that was a miracle. That was the favor of God giving me access to capital that I should not have access to. But that's the way it works when you are just walking with God, when you're just obeying what he told you to do. You don't have to know how it's going to work out. You don't have to know where the money will come from. Because a week ago, I can tell you, less than a week ago, I was looking at where am I going to come up with $16,000 from? I just bought a house. Where am I going to get $16,000 from? And today I walk into the bank and he says, just let me know how much you need and I'll put it in your account. All God. So let this be a lesson. I was at church last night. Pastor Joseph Moynia was preaching Wednesday night service, and he said, and Jesus said in the Bible, miracles and signs and wonders shall follow them that believe. That was one of the promises that Jesus said, to his disciples. And these signs and wonders shall follow them that believe. He said, but the key word is shall follow. So you have to be moving before you see the miracle. You have to step out there before you see the miracle, the sign, and the wonder, because they shall follow them that believe. So you have to be headed in the direction of what God told you to do without knowing how it's going to work out, without seeing the end, without having the plan, without the resources. You step out, you start moving with the flow of the Spirit as he leads you. You just go. You're like, all right, I'm headed there. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And then you get to see and experience the miracle, sign, and wonder, because it comes after you move. That was just revelation to me. That was confirmation to me, because that's how I always live. I'm always just stepping out there. I don't know ever, really ever, how it's going to work out. And then people were like, how did that happen for you? Because I moved. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't need to have all of the college education and the expertise and the bank account balance. Sometimes you just have to, and I'm not saying this like it's magic, but when God speaks to you and he tells you to do something, this won't work for everybody, because God is not telling everybody to do something. But when he speaks to you and he says, step out, move forward, go here, call this person, say this, and you actually start moving, then you get the confirmation. Then you get the success, because you believed in faith. You moved at his word. I'm sitting here doing my Bible study, and the Lord showed me in Isaiah 41 that God is the helper of Israel. And he said, the poor and needy search for water, but there is none. Their tongues are parched with thirst. But I, the Lord, will answer them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will make rivers flow on barren heights and spring within the valleys. I will turn the desert into pools of water and the parched ground into springs. I will put in the desert the cedar and the acacia, the myrtle and the olive. I will set pines in the wasteland, the fir and the cypress together, so that the people may see and understand, see and know, may consider and understand that the hand of the Lord has done this. The Holy One of Israel has created it. So whenever God is calling you to a dead thing, whenever you are looking at something that seems hopeless, it seems like when I look at the area of town that I would like to buy property in, nobody buys property. Like nobody wants to invest in this area. If they had it wouldn't be available right now. Nobody sees the opportunity. All they see is the abandoned homes, the drug addicts, the trap houses, the crime. That's all they see. The poverty. They don't see. They see the desert. But God says it's these people that are thirsty and nobody will give them water. Nobody will give them water on their tongue. They're parched. There's a need. It's a desert land. But I will do it. I will make rivers spring up. I will begin to make fruit come forth in a barren land. I will manifest it supernaturally so that the people may see when it's all said and done and know that it wasn't some physical person that caused it to change. It was the hand of God that did it. He's the helper of Israel. We are Israel. He's the helper of his people. And so the Lord has called my family to this desert land. He's calling you and your family to some other desert situation, some hopeless situation. And you're looking at it and you may initially look at it with the eyes of hopelessness. Well, what can I do? This situation is bigger than me. What can I do? And God is saying, I will make rivers flow in barren heights. I will turn your desert into pools of water. Now that's extreme. Have you ever been to a desert? Have you ever been to a desert? It's dry. He's saying, I will take you from one extreme to the next. I will take you from seemingly like there you'll never find a drop of water here to you'll be overflowing. He can change situations that have been long dry. They have just been they've been forgone. That nobody wants to fix them. They've just been accepted that this is the way that it will be in this particular area or in this particular problem. But he can use you to turn those areas into rivers of flowing water. And this part stuck with me. He says, I will set pines in the wasteland, the fir and the cypress together. He's saying that I will make things grow in places where they don't naturally grow. I will make these strong trees, the fir and the cypress. The cypress is one of the biggest trees. I will make these things that are strong and deeply rooted, that will be established, that will stand for many, many years to come. I will make them grow in a place where the soil, where the terrain does not seem like naturally these things would survive. But I will bring it forth because I'll do it with my hand. So that's what Kingdom Legacy is all about. And when you see it, I just want to let you know in advance. It's January 30th, 2020. When it's all said and done, it won't be because of my hand or because of my husband's or because of anybody else that's a man on this earth. It will be because of the hand of God that did it.